Alright, today I'll teach you what I use to write all my CCC problem solutions. The links to all of this stuff will be in the description, and this video is basically a tutorial on how to install them from a computer that has nothing. Note that this tutorial is for Windows only. If you're on Mac or Linux, I suggest either using a VM or finding your own setup that works on your platform. So the first step is installing our IDE. Here I'm using Visual Studio 2022, and there's be a link to it in the bottom of the video. So you'll just download from here. The link to this is down in the description, and then run the installer. Now once the installer is launched, we'll need to specifically select what components we need. Since we'll be using C++, just click Desktop Development with C++ here, and that should give you everything that you need. Then you can just leave this as install while downloading and hit install. Now it'll start here, and this is going to take a bit, so I'll just speed it up for you. Alright, now that it's installed, we're going to launch it, and we're going to start the process of making a new project. So here we'll just skip this. Choose our theme, the default's fine. And here we are. So we'll just hit the create a new project button. And that brings us to here. So in the template search, we'll press C make, capital C, capital M, and that should bring us the template we want. Here we go. Hit next. And this default location is fine for me. We want to tick this box and hit create. Alright, now that we're in the project, we need to do a few things. First, we can just exit out of this. It's not important for us. Next, we can exit out of this. Okay, so this is the Solution Explorer. Here, which should load up in a second. You can install this if you want, but you don't need it. So first things first, we're going to delete this .h file since we can only submit one file to the CCC grader, so this isn't helpful to us. And then going into this main file, we can just wipe this thing clean and just leave a main function. Then in our CMake lists, we'll want to make sure we remove the C++20 part and the .h file here. Then you're ready to go. You can write your code in here in this main function. So let's just, for example, test 1, 2, 3. Here, all we need to do is it's got to gather and start our CMake generation. And there we go. And then now, so now here we'll see the CMake project 1.exe. And now we can get into this main stuff. So here we have our two launch buttons. This one launches it without a debugger. So when we click that, it'll build our program and run it without the debugger attached. But when we hit this one, it'll launch it with the debugger attached, which allows us to use breakpoints and all of the other features of Visual Studio Code in the program. So you see here, and our project runs right there. But if I, for example, a very common thing that you want to do is set a breakpoint. I'm going to add some other variables just to make this more interesting. And here we'll just set a breakpoint on the first line by clicking right there, and then run our project in debug mode. And this allows us to run it with the debugger attached, and we can step through our code line by line, which is very useful for finding where things are going wrong. So it should connect. There you go. All right, and now you'll see it stopped at the breakpoint. So we can see the value of test is 0. And we go over one line and go over another line, and you'll see it runs that print test 1, 2, 3. And then we skip over another line. See it changes the value of test here to 1. And this can help you find where things are going wrong. And if we just hit continue, it'll go through as normal. So now when you want to make or start a new problem, you just add a new file. Let's just call this problem2.cpp. And then you're going to want to go into your CMake lists file again and just add another executable. So just follow the format. You can call it problem2 or whatever you want. And just make sure you put the name of your C++ file there. And then when you hit save, it'll regenerate your project. And then when you click this little drop-down arrow here, you'll have your other project here, and then you can run it. That's basically just my Visual Studio setup. And now for whiteboards, I use Microsoft Whiteboard. So if you just search Microsoft Whiteboard, you'll find it here, and you can draw on it and use it to help you solve your problems. You can also get it from the Microsoft Store. So that's my setup for Visual Studio 2022. Thanks for watching, and check the description, and good luck on solving your problems.